Alright guys, just another little message for you today. Hopefully you can hear alright. There's some traffic rumbling by, so hopefully that doesn't disturb your viewing. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is obviously about happiness, but how to make yourself happy and knowing how to make yourself happy. Okay, it's all very well saying, oh, I'm happy now because everything's going well. Things aren't going to go so well later on because this is going to happen and that's going to happen. That's not a good way to sort of live, really. What you need to be able to do is understand yourself and understand why you're happy and how you can make yourself happy at times. And also understanding what makes the people you're close to happy as well, or people you work with, what makes them happy and why. And it really comes down to having a knowledge of the human needs. Generally, there's about six main sort of human needs that we have, and we all have them. And I learned this a number of years ago from Tony Robbins, and I've seen lots of videos where he's kind of discussed these human needs. It's really important to know, okay, and it takes a little while to get to grips with it and understand how it all works, but once you kind of know, you have a better understanding on how to deal with yourself and deal with others. Okay, so the 6 human needs are as follows. Certainty. All right, certainty meaning kind of having security, wanting security. Something going on. Wanting security, wanting stability in your life, and knowing where you are. So you always know that you're going to have your partner, or you know that you're going to have a certain amount of money coming in, or you know that your house is going to be safe. Things like that. So that's one human need that we all have to we have to tick that box. Okay, now the strange thing is, another human need that we all obviously all have to cover is uncertainty as well, which is the opposite. So that's quite strange, really, because they kind of contradict one another. All right, now that is kind of like your adventure and surprise and stuff like that, and meaning like your life isn't always the same, so you don't get bored, basically. Okay, so that's your second human need. Third human need is like your love and connection. We all need some sort of love and connection. All right, usually obviously with human beings, whether it be a partner or a husband or a wife or your kids or just your family in general. If you don't have anyone, then generally you might find people they have something like a dog or a pet or whatever. Even those people who they don't seem as though they're capable of loving, because they come from a bad background and don't seem to have that love or connection with anyone. What those people tend to do, so that maybe, let's say they come from a bad background, they've had a bad upbringing, parents were not the best, and they've really got nobody to love or to love them exactly. In that case, generally what you find happens with those people is that they find not necessarily love, but they find connection with something or a group. Okay, so that's when you have like your gangs and stuff like that. So, people tend to find people who are like them, maybe in a similar sort of situation, and then they all become part of a gang. And as we know, gangs in certain parts of the country or certain parts of the world are not always the most desirable group of people. So they all tend to be similar, and they might even be slightly dodgy and on the wrong side of the tracks, but they all kind of want to please one another. They'll do certain things to be part of the gang and part of the group, and that is then fulfilling their kind of connection with something or someone, and that is how they're ticking their box for that human need. Okay, next one is significance. All right, so that just means we all need some kind of importance in our life. All right, so obviously for some people that might be they need to become a millionaire, they need to be Olympic champion, they need to be the CEO of a company or a boss, or manage something, or even something simple like they need to be a parent or a teacher or something like that. That kind of gives them that significance. All right, now a lot of people may tick that box by, you know, even going on Facebook and ranting about something. That's kind of them putting themselves above the people they're ranting about, you know, and they're kind of ticking that box in that way. So they're the 4 main human needs that we all need, and we'll all find a way to get those no matter what. Okay, and then there's 2 other human needs which we don't necessarily need, or we don't necessarily need to get quite as badly, but those 2 are generally the ones which actually make us the happiest, which are the first one is contribution. Be able to kind of obviously give back to people and help people, and, you know, make society a better place and all that kind of thing. And the other one is kind of progression and growth. Okay, so that's kind of to keep progressing yourself, or whatever, your community or your club or whatever it might be, and while you've kind of got that as a goal or a mission, it makes you happy. You know, while you're progressing in an upward direction, you tend to feel like you're fulfilling a mission to an extent. Okay, so they're your 6 human needs, and we all really have to try and cover those as best we can. Certainly the first 4, we'll always find a way, some way or other, to fulfill those needs. All right, but the thing is that we all need those needs in a different in different amounts or different degrees. Okay, so for myself, I would say top of my list is security, really. All right, so security and kind of, you know, stability, and that really, I find that totally in my relationship, and, you know, being married and having my children and my family and, you know, parents and stuff like that, and I've got a real good solid group of people around me, and that really 100% ticks my box. Okay, and you know, in terms of financially, I'm paying my bills, and I don't really feel like I have any real problems in that department. So that is my top human need, and personally, and I feel that, you know, I have ticked that box, really. My next biggest for me probably is progression. I always feel like I need to be progressing in order to make me happy. I need to be able to sort of keep moving forward and keep trying to make myself better and stuff. Hence why I'm doing things like this. You know, that makes me happy, and I like trying to see that in other people and help other people to do that as well. Contribution is obviously pretty high for me as well. I like, you know, trying to help people and see other people get on. Obviously, as a judo and MMA coach, I'm seeing that kind of on a daily basis, people kind of progressing and stuff. So for me, that makes me happy, and that ticks my box. I guess another one is significance to a certain extent. This makes me a little bit significant in my world. I'm kind of helping people and maybe kind of giving people advice. I guess that does make me a little bit more significant. Not compared to some people, obviously, but in my world, it does. It ticks the box. Having been a sporting competitor, judo competitor, and fought at a good level, and now as a coach trying to get people to a higher level and achieving things and winning things, that gives me a little bit of significance, you know, even just keeping myself in good shape and you know, being a good dad and a good husband. All those things make me significant in my world. All right, and they certainly tick the box for me. All right, so you can start to see why I'm happy, because I'm ticking all the boxes that are important to me. Okay, now maybe less important for me is the uncertainty box, the adventure and the you know, the surprises and stuff like that. For me, I've never been one for needing adventure. I'm not one for needing to do different things all the time. You know, I'm not always having to kind of find things to light me up or whatever, you know. I'm not a risk taker, never have been a risk taker really, and never really feel the need to do anything too much outside of the box really. And if that was high on my list of human needs, like it is for certain people, then I would be looking for new things and adventure and risk taking a lot more. Okay, now obviously if you're in a relationship, one person's top human need is security and certainty, and the other person, their top one is uncertainty. They need adventure and change and difference all the time. You can sometimes get a little bit of a contradiction and a problem if you don't understand your partner's human or top human needs. You don't understand these things, and you just think that the other person's being awkward because they're not like you, and you expect other people to be like you. Okay, now I could say that in terms of progression and significance. Like progression, even though it's quite high on the list for me, for other people, that they may feel, as long as they're paying their bills and as long as they're they might have children and they're bringing them up, and then the kids aren't in prison and stuff like that, they may find that is where they're that's significant enough for them, and that is progression enough for them, and that fits them. They're a lot more content with where they are, and that sort of if significance isn't high on their list either, that would also be a reason for people just being happy to get a job and not necessarily have millions of degrees and not achieve, not have a high paying job, or not to be an Olympian or something like that. To those people, those things are not particularly important. So when they kind of see somebody climb Everest, they're the sort of people who turn around and say, well, why are they doing that for? Well, what's the point of climbing a mountain? You might as well, if you climb up, you just got to climb down again. What's the point? But that's because people are different. Different things light people up in different ways, and as long as we understand that we're all different and understand where people's human needs are more important than others, then we can all kind of adapt to the other people and know what makes us happy and what we need to make us happy and what other people need to make them happy, and we can tend to be able to tick them boxes a lot easier. So in which case we can then, if we're not feeling quite ourselves and we're feeling a little bit down, then we can probably work out a lot easier why, and then we can kind of fill those things in to tick the box. Okay, so this is just a fairly quick video. You might, to be honest, if you listen to Tony Robbins talk about this, he talks about this in larger detail or greater detail, and he's been teaching this for years and years and years. So this is just a brief kind of lesson in this. All right, now as I said, everyone's different. I'm somebody who wants to try, and I'm quite ambitious in some ways, I guess. Somebody like my brother, we're brought up by the same parents, and we both get on really well, both really good mates. But my brother has he went to school, he's academically cleverer than me, potentially better, more likely to get lots of degrees and GCSEs, A levels, you name it. He could have done all of that, but he didn't even go to university. He didn't want to. Just had no desire to go to university. He had no ambition to kind of get a particular job. Just wanted to get a job, and he did get a job, which was okay. And then he worked his way up, and he's getting paid more. And he's not the sort of person who's he doesn't need a lot of money. He's sort of person who just drives quite an average car and isn't really fussed about a nice car or a big house. He's he goes to work, he looks after his money. He's got a partner who's got she had a couple of kids when they got together, and they've had another kid, and they're all grown up now, and they're as happy as anything. He goes to work each week. On Saturday he likes watching the football, and he's a supporter of Ipswich Town, and I know and someone's got to, I suppose. And he loves his life. He's kind of really happy, and for a lot of people, they would think, oh, that's pretty boring. They go on one holiday a year maybe, and you know, and they kind of save up for that, and then they go, and they're really happy. They're content. And I wrote about that in my book, World Class Happiness, and you know, there is a section in there called Contentment, where I wrote about my brother mainly. And you know, we're very, very different in what we want, and you know, our human needs are completely different, yet we're both really, really happy people. He probably wouldn't be happy doing what I do, and I wouldn't really be happy doing what he does, but we're both really happy, and we both get on well together, and we both understand one another. So so that's the thing. Everyone's different, and if you understand yourself and understand others, you can understand what makes people happy, what makes yourself happy, and then we can all live alongside one another in harmony, because we all kind of understand, and we're not on people's cases. Oh, you need to do this, you need to get a better job, you need to start trying to get up and motivate yourself to do this and win this and have this, and you know, why have you got that for? Well, that ain't very good. You know, some people are happy being as they are, and some people aren't. If people aren't happy where they are, they maybe need to hear this and think, right, okay, well, I'm not ticking that box. That's the reason I'm not happy, because I'm not ticking that box, and I need to start finding ways to tick that box. All right, so I'm gonna leave that there. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to say today. If you like what we're talking about on the channel, I would appreciate if you would subscribe. I know some of you, you know, just like checking out the videos, but that does really help me. Make me feel more significant. If you can kind of help me with one of my human needs, make me feel important, then that would be brilliant. Okay, so I'll do another video another time. Cheers, guys.